I don't hear any thunderstorms.
It's kind of, this thunder has subsided. It looks like it might be clearing a little here.
Hello and welcome to the AT&T 5G virtual studios. It is National Best Friends Day. I am Jillian Sakovitz alongside, fittingly, Susanna Collins on National Best Friends Day.
Aw, I love that.
Happy National Best Friends Day.
Happy National Best Friends Day. Love you.
Speaking of kick butt women, today we have on the woman that The Guardian recently called Mexican soccer's most outspoken and fearless player, Janelly Farias, fresh off her debut with CBS as an analyst for CONCACAF Nations League, where she crushed it. She is fresh off a plane back in Mexico City, and she is hanging out with us.
I feel like this is going to be such a incredible conversation. She's one of these ladies that she doesn't hold back. She speaks her mind. She's just awesome in every sense of the word. And so, really, really excited for this conversation. But on that note, Jill, as you mentioned, Janelly was part of the Nations League broadcast for CBS this weekend. And this leads us to our first here for this. Okay, so the star of the show, yes, the U.S. men's national team beat Mexico in the final. Way to go, boys. We are so very proud of you. But the star of the show, Jillian Sakovitz, was Deuce. Clint Dempsey.
Never thought we'd see the day that Clint Dempsey is gracing my TV as an analyst, and it was everything I would have expected. And more. And here's the other thing. Listen to what we're talking about. U.S. hadn't played a match in 500 plus days. Mm-hmm. They beat Mexico 3-2 on a penalty kick from Christian Pulisic. And we are talking about Clint Dempsey, because I was texting Charlie Davies earlier and I said, yes, wins help, all this. But like, that broadcast team made U.S. soccer fun again.
Oh, it was incredible. They were having such a good time. And I was like, I just want to hang out. I want to hang out with the whole crew. They were absolutely loving it. And they were just like, you could tell that they were old teammates. They were just ribbing each other so much in that like amazing friendly banter way. It was so great. His camo blazer, the sunglasses, everything. I was just like, oh, more Clint Dempsey, please inject it straight into my veins. But did you see this tweet from Jeff Attinella? This was so great. So
poor Jeff.
Literally,
not fair. Jeff's the nicest.
He's the best.
Timbers
he is the best. He is the best. So Jeff Attinella, like all of us, was just kind of enamored with Clint Dempsey being on this broadcast. And he tweeted out, he was kind of like, is it too soon to say this? But like, I love Clint Dempsey on this broadcast. And Portland fans were not happy. They had something to say about it. So then Jeff Attinella was like, retweeted his own tweet and was like, yep, guess it was too soon. I mean, they came after him.
I've talked about this in the NBA. I've talked about it in MLS. We need that. That is good for the game. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, yes, be nice to each other. However, that type of ferociousness is good for the game. So like, and I know Clint Dempsey's like, bring it on.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. It was just awesome. And also, Jeff had a great sense of humor about it.
Let's just give a quick shout out to our friend Charlie Davies, who kept the stink flag alive, giving it a little bit on the Nations League trophy. He took the dare from Gooch, Clint, and Kate, which I love to see. And I just want to give myself a little credit here that I had a bet with Charlie Davies not too long ago, that if New England beat Atlanta, which they did, I would say that I love Charlie.
Yeah, you did. And you delivered. You held up your end.
I'd like to think that I inspired Charlie Davies to keep up your end of bets.
Oh, obviously. Duh.
Susanna Collins, are you here for theme-based outfit judgment?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
A plus side would be, I really resonated with Clint Dempsey's camo suit, because I was like, oh, that is a low-key nod to the United States. It's not red and blue, but I see what you're doing here. and I asked this question because I was on the heels of the week prior to Nations League being annoyed at getting some hate on social media about this little number right here.
What's wrong with
but
that?
Here's the thing. This is my point of that. I was annoyed by it and being like, a woman would only have to deal with this. No one says when my broadcast partners at Atlanta United, Marisa Dew and Kevin Egan, have 2 Navy suits on for a Montreal game or 2 Navy suits on for a Chicago Fire game. I wore this little top that for you at home that are watching, I swear to you, on the hanger, this is like that thing, like that dress. Do you see?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
On the hanger is like neon evergreen, like not even kind of yellow green, like it is a green.
I'm looking at you right now and it looks yellow.
Right. Okay. So you can imagine how happy the fans were when I wore it for Atlanta versus Nashville.
Oh,
no. And I started to get these tweets that was like, really, Jillian? Highlighter yellow. And here's the thing. I love it for the reason that it means the fans, they're invested. I want ferociousness. But on the flip side, I was also, maybe being a little emotional. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I have prepared all week. I have interviewed everyone to try to bring good content to Atlanta United Live. And here I am, and what people are focusing in on is what I'm wearing.
How about the words coming out of my mouth?
No one said anything about what I said over the course of a pregame show, a game, and a postgame show. But I got multiple comments about my shirt. And you know what? I just want to know how I should feel about it. Like, I get it, but then I'm also like, how about I really liked your point about passing accuracy?
Thank you. And you know what? It goes back to the same old thing, because men do not have to worry about this. As you said, guys like Kevin and Mo wear the same darn suit every week and no one says boo about it, but we get judged on everything exterior. And it's like, please, you know what? If I mess up, if I say something factually wrong or whatever, then call me out on that. Do not call me out for an outfit you don't like. And I don't think it's fair. So I think you should feel ticked off and annoyed, because.
And the ultimate irony here, Susanna Collins, is I was kind of going through my clothes and I was going to pack this like orangey shirt. And I was like, you know what, Jill, that could present as yellow and let's not go there. So it's like, you're hypersensitive to it. Yeah. So I was like, green's not yellow. It's not red. Put it in. Then all of a sudden it's like, whoa. So anyway, that's just my inner insecurities coming out about my shirt, which is pathetic.
On the same note, for Nashville, when the team was announced, I wore a purple dress, thinking that, I was like, I'm not going to look too like I'm trying to be a fan. Exactly. So I wore this purple dress, but then the Nashville fans there got super mad at me because Louisville, it was one of their rivals at the time, is purple. That's their color. And they were like, really? Like, that's not cool. And I was like, right. Cause that's what I was thinking when I put this on. Like, oh, good grief. You know what? You can't please everyone. And I'm done trying.
One thing we're both here for, as we cap off this epic here for this segment, one thing we're both here for is Zarek Valentin's newest charitable endeavor, not Denver, endeavor. 2019, he tweeted, I lost one of my best friends, Mike, who battled addiction his entire life. So in his honor, my closest buddies and I created a Scoop for Hope. Between selling ice cream and donations, we'll create backpacks for those transitioning back to normal life. So for those of you that want to do a good thing, check out a Scoop for Hope on GoFundMe.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, or you can go to Zarek's Twitter and Instagram. He posted links for the GoFundMe there. Zarek Valentin is one of the nicest guys. And he is one of these guys that consistently uses his platform to give back and help his community, help people in need. And I am just always so happy to share anything that he's doing, because it is always in such an incredible spirit. And he's just one of the good guys in MLS. And we need more guys like Zarek. Well done. Time now for our AT&T 5G call to the field. Fresh off her debut as an analyst for CBS on the CONCACAF Nations League broadcast, we have Mexican-American defender for Mexico's women's national team and Club América and Liga MX Femenil, Janelly Farias. We are so very thrilled to have you here. We know you are an incredibly busy lady, so thank you so much for coming on the call up.
Thank you for having me. By the way, your pronunciation of Club América was good. Spot on.
Thank you. Oh, man, that gold star from Janelly. That means the world.
So we really enjoyed watching you debut for CBS, crushed it as an analyst for their coverage of Nations League. I think everyone appreciated their coverage all around. Now that you've had a few days to reflect, it wasn't your first time broadcasting for national TV. You told us you've done it for Telemundo, but first time in English. What was it like being on that side of things and in that environment?
It was like 360 from what I've done before. One, because of the language, right? This time it was in English, my first time. And two, because, I mean, from being very direct, CBS is very USA biased. So, I mean, everyone was like, USA, USA, and I'm there the only one. I'm like, Mexico, Mexico. So it was interesting to come in with that perspective. But it was great. The group of people were amazing. I felt so welcome. I felt so comfortable. They made it so much easier.
I mean, and that game, we have come to expect the U.S. Mexico games to always kind of bring the fireworks. They are very emotional and passionate, and this game was exactly that. It was crazy, and unfortunately for you, it was Mexico on the losing side of this. But now that you've kind of had, a few days to kind of think about the match, what were your biggest takeaways as an analyst from both the United States side of things and Mexico's side?
I think the gap between the U.S. it's closing. I think the years before, I think it was very clear who was the superpower in the CONCACAF on the men's side. And now I think that the U.S. has a group of young players that in the final, especially in those last 30, 45 minutes, prove that though they're young and inexperienced to a certain extent, they have a lot of heart, and they found a way to beat this very mature, resilient, successful Mexican team. So to me, that's what's about the most. And then Mexico, I think it was kind of like a rude awakening. They're just so used to just always being top, and they're expected to win, and they normally handle the pressure well. But I think this time it was like, hey guys, we need to wake up and keep working because things are changing.
I want to give you credit too. When I think about all the people a part of CBS's coverage, is you're sitting here in your pony and your headband because you're doing broadcasting on the weekend. You got to run back to play soccer. So like, credit to being an active player and also getting that in. American fans, Janelly, went crazy for the legend himself here in American soccer, Clint Dempsey on TV, something we never thought we'd see. He's always kind of shied away from the media. That's been his thing. So we have to ask you, what was your impressions of working with him? He too came across as someone who'd done this forever. And I guess that's just his love of the game coming through.
It was awesome working with Clint. Awesome. I'll be honest, like growing up as a fan of the Mexican national team, it was like, oh, Clint Dempsey, scoring goals for the U.S. So I wasn't a fan of him. But obviously I didn't know him as a person. And just my first impressions of him were great. Like you said, right, it was his first time doing this, but he just seemed he enjoyed being up there. And that's what made it so much more fun for all of us, I think. And I mean, it was just so cool getting to work with such legends.
Yeah, we Jill and I were just talking about how the fun that you guys were having was palpable. And we were like, I just want to go hang out with all of them. Like, they just look like they're having like the best time. I want to go like pony up at a bar and have a drink with all of them. So you guys, it's hard when it's your first time together as a group, and that chemistry can be something that takes a while to develop. But you guys had it right off the bat, and it was just truly a pleasure to watch. So thank you for being a part of it. It was awesome. Janelly, we want to get to know you because we're so excited to have you on and to have you kind of make your foray into the world of American soccer broadcasting. But you have had such a fascinating journey in soccer, born in Mexico to Mexican parents, but you played college soccer in the United States and in Mexico, and then you represent the Mexican national team, and you've been entrenched in both cultures, in both countries, and both cultures. So can you kind of tell us what led you to El Tri and Club América? Like how did that decision come to be?
Well, just to clarify, I was born in California. Born in California from Mexican born parents. They migrated to California just for better opportunities for my brothers and I. I have 4 brothers. And though I was raised in California all my life, I grew up in a very Mexican home, traditional Mexican home. And that's kind of what shaped a big part of who I am and what I do now. And I mean, my love for Mexico has never, ever been in question. I mean, I got scouted when I was 13 years old to the Mexican national team, and I honestly never questioned it then. Growing up, Mia Hamm was one of my idols. So I looked up to her, obviously, but I mean, my heart was Mexican. Mexican blood runs through my veins. I mean, I'm so grateful for what America has given me. Being a dual citizenship has a lot of privileges, and I'm so grateful for that. But my heart is definitely Mexican.
So if you say you follow Mia Hamm, like, could we see you getting in on some like female soccer ownership one day?
Oh man, that would be ideal. That would be ideal. Yeah, I like that idea.
You're an incredible advocate for the LGBTQ plus community. As an openly gay woman, you've used your platform to elevate conversations around equality. In the final on Sunday, we heard the unfortunately familiar homophobic slur being chanted during that match. It's something you've written about, you've spoken about, you've even led an online talk for Harvard University about how it has affected you when you were out on the field. What action do you feel is best to eliminate it from the game? Because here we are talking fans. We know it's a problem amongst players. How do you even begin? I know, steps have been taken, but for you, what actions would you like to see now?
Well, I can go two routes with this. One is a very aggressive route, and it's just zero tolerance. Here at once and end the game. Here at once and the game, Mexico loses. I think it's just there's so many loopholes in these protocols, and it's like, step 1, step 2, step 3, but who's really enforcing this? It's very difficult to monitor that. I think we've been warned for years, and so the fact that I have to give a warning before every game, and then a warning when it's said, and then it's like another warning, and then it's not going to work. I genuinely don't think it's going to work. Obviously, people tell me I'm crazy for thinking that such an aggressive change can happen, and yeah, maybe I am, but I think it can happen. And I think another route is instead of trying to say, hey, like, let's eliminate this chant, I think we can replace it. I think we can put in a protocol in place to, give fans the opportunity to be creative. Let's see how we can replace this and make it something positive. I've been brainstorming just ideas of like what can be done or how, what can we do to actually generate this change. And 3, I think I said 2 at the beginning. 3, I can keep going about this, but 3,
keep going.
3 is we have to be very direct about it being homophobic. And it's taking years and years and years for the Mexican Federation to even acknowledge that it is homophobic. And I think that's the key. I think in order for us to generate real change, we have to recognize the root of the problem. And if we're not recognizing the root of the problem, things are never going to change. And a lot of the narrative around it is, well, we don't mean it, but it doesn't matter whether you mean it or not, whether it's intentional or not. The truth and the reality is that it is harmful, it is homophobic, and it excludes people. And soccer should be universal. Soccer should be inclusive. And 4, I'll end on this one. I think that I put in question whether the people in authoritative positions, whether they really care about this issue. Now, I think a lot of people just go along with it because they just comply so that they can continue playing, so that their teams can stay on the field. And I think that's wrong. I think that's the wrong approach. So I think people need to question themselves and really say, okay, do we genuinely care about this, or are we just doing this so that we can continue making money?
I think that Janelly should be you should be like running all of the organizations. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like 4 options, but as you said, I can tell you've been brainstorming, and there are tons of ideas that are going through your head right now. As a gay player, when you have heard that particular chant, how does that affect you when you're on the field? Is that something that you're able to tune out, or are you pretty aware of what's going on and what is being said?
Personally, I'm more than aware. I'm hyper aware. At the stadium, you would hear it kind of like in small crowds, and people are like, "Oh, I can't hear it." I'm like, "Oh, I can hear it." I can. If one person says it, I think I'll hear it. Personally, I feel like I'm You know, I'm a very confident out gay person, and it still affects me. So I can just imagine what somebody else that is not in my position must feel. Somebody that is in the closet, or somebody that is struggling to figure out who they are or what they are. Like, imagine them hearing that. It's just, oh man, it's just so harmful, whether it's direct or indirectly, and it just needs to stop.
Janelly, you've been really open about when you did come out, and you say that, you know, I'm a confident gay woman, but you think about those other people that maybe aren't where you're at yet, or they won't get to where you're at, and their comfortability with themselves. You said when you did come out to your family, they, quote, rejected you. You quit your senior year of college, even the game for a few years. With June being Pride Month, can you share some of that journey, and also what your message would be to people that might be experiencing something similar at home?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm 31 years old now. I had my first girlfriend when I was 18, and I didn't question it. I was just like, okay, I love another woman. Okay. It wasn't until I realized that my family was questioning it, and my family started treating me differently, that I was like, okay, this is not going to be easy. So like, little by little, the more I tried to just be myself, the more it became either taboo, like, oh no, we're not going to talk about it, or no, you can't be you. So I decided to you know, kind of step away from my family, because I said, I don't want to be in an environment where I can't be me. And I tried living without that love and acceptance for about 2 or 3 years, and I just couldn't. I got to a point where I said, no, I need my family's love so that I can be okay. And I reached the lowest points of my life. I became an alcoholic. I was suicidal. And I think it's important to talk about these things because there's so much stigma attached to it. But there are so many people that go through these things. They just don't know, or don't feel like they can identify, because people don't talk about them enough. And it's true, I went through those things, and, you know, I got to a point where I realized, you know, I could get out of this. I just have to, one, be more patient with my family, and understand that just like it's a process for me, it's a process for them and all those that are around me. And two, education and exposure was key, right? Having my parents understand what I was going through mentally, and having an open mind as to, hey, like, you know, their culture brought them up a certain way. And all this is different. It's not wrong. It's just different. And different doesn't mean that it can't happen. It's just, okay, I need to be patient with them and help them understand that maybe this is different, but this is who I am. And I'm the same Janelly that, you know, that was born 31 years ago, and who I love or what I love is not going to change that. And just slowly exposing my family to my life, and, you know, slowly bringing my girlfriend around, it helped the process. But like I said, there are so many people out there going through something similar. And I think what would have helped me was just to know that I wasn't alone, because I felt alone at some point. I felt really alone. And just for them to know that they're not alone, that there are millions of us that go through these things, that who they are has so much value, and that they shouldn't try to change for anyone or anything. That love is truly unconditional, and love always wins, and that the people that really matter, they're going to be there. Maybe they might not understand at the beginning, but in the long run, with time, they're going to be there. I think when you truly love yourself and you're so confident in who you are, the people around you can't help but feed off of that, and they're not gonna help but love you.
It's incredibly well said. And it's the time, you know, people are afraid of change. People are afraid of things that they don't know. And I just want to ask, what is your relationship like with your family now? What does that dynamic look like?
It's great. I mean, if you would have asked me 10 years ago that I would be here with them, no, I would have said, no way, you know. And most of a good relationship was with my parents, was rebuilding that with my parents. It was like I had to do it twice, because they divorced when all this was happening. So that made it more difficult, because I had to have these difficult conversations twice. But it just made me much stronger, and I am who I am today because of it. But now it's so cool. Like, my mom openly talk about my girlfriend, Like, I see my dad sharing things on Facebook about equality, and I'm just like, whoa. One, I never thought my dad would be using Facebook. And two, I never thought he would be sharing things like this. So just little things, we're still working on it. It's not perfect. There are things that need to get better. It can be very, very hard. There are still things that they don't understand, but now we are at a point where they respect who I am. And I think that's the most important thing, right? Not everybody is going to understand your life and what you're doing or why you're doing it. But as long as they respect you, that's the starting point.
A true inspiration to anybody struggling with anything at home. So, and then on top of it, to people who are gay and want to come out to their families, and I'm sure to gay Latinas who also want to come out to their family. So thank you so much for sharing that with you. We also want to talk about your career with the Mexican national team. Here in the U.S., while there's still some work to do, we've seen the U.S. women's national team start to have a shift. I mean, there's work to do, but finally kind of being recognized for the rock star, incredible talents that they are, 4-time World Cup champions. And they're becoming household names. We're seeing little boys or always little girls with Rapinoe jerseys on. I know you've spoken so much about her sponsorship deals. Megan Rapinoe is in like 4 commercials right now on primetime TV.
Yeah, you're everywhere.
Literally everywhere.
Subway commercials. I'm like, okay, now it's over. What can you tell us about the current state, though, Janelly? Give us some insight into the state of the Mexican women's national team.
Well, if I compare it to the U.S., we're far behind. We are very far behind. That's the reality of it. But we are learning a lot from what the U.S. women's national team is doing. I think in terms of sponsorships or commercials, things like Megan Rapinoe's doing and all of the women's U.S. national team, we are kind of just getting into that scene. There are companies, organizations, businesses that are starting to see the value in women's soccer. So I'm excited to see the growth in that. I actually was able to come out in a campaign commercial with AT&T Mexico that was recorded. I think we did it last year, and it was amazing. It was the first time ever that I think a brand that deals with the Mexican national team used the women's players. So it was a big step. So I was glad to be part of that. But I think I'll always say this, that soccer is a reflection of our culture, of society. And in the US, it's very progressive. People are very open-minded. The woman is seen as, is equal to a man. There's still work to do, but arguably I think we can say that. And here in Mexico, we're still seen as second. The woman is seen as second, and that's what we need to change. There has to be a structural change in society and in our culture for us to see it reflected in soccer.
Yeah, I mean, you said it before. Change does take time, but I feel
women here, we're knocking that down for so long, and it's just finally getting there.
Yeah. We're getting there. You have not been shy about your ambitions for 2023 and making the World Cup. It was the World Cup back in 2015 that kind of resparked your love of the game. Janelly, how will you manifest this dream into reality? Tell us how it's going to get done.
Well, like you said, right, 2015, I was sitting on the couch when I had stopped playing soccer. I was sitting on my couch watching the Women's World Cup, and I said, hey, I can still do this. It's when I turned my life around. 2019, we didn't qualify, which was just completely devastating. And now for this next World Cup, I mean, it's something that I tell myself, I've been preparing 31 years for this. It's something that I do day in and day out. I actually I write my goals clearly so I can see them every single day, and I have that written on my fridge. That's one thing that has not changed in the past years. It's just a combination of doing the right things day in and day out, and not letting anything or anyone get in the way of that. I will do everything that's in my hands to put myself in the best position to be there. Now, I know there are other factors, that need to be considered, but I mean, thus far, everything I've set my mind to, I've accomplished and more. And I live with that mentality. And people tell me I'm crazy, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I am, but it takes crazy to accomplish big things.
Well, you have your mindset on big things, Janelly. We're so thankful for you. You know, you go and make your English-speaking TV debut. You're in Denver for a week. You hightailed to Mexico City last night. You have training with your club for preseason today at Club América. And then here you are doing this with us. So we are so, so very thankful. Before we let you go, let people know where they can catch you and follow you. And do you have any more TV on your schedule?
Yeah.
We want to know.
What's next?
Well, you can follow me on at Janelly Farias across all platforms. Right now, my focus is Club América. I wanna have an amazing season. I wanna just be the best that I can be personally, so I can accomplish my individual goals and add to our team goals. Right now, I think no more TV for the rest of the year, at least. I mean, I have a really busy schedule with soccer calendar and hopefully Mexican national team calendar. And yeah, I mean, I'm just excited. And I think this is awesome what you two have here. It's pretty cool.
Oh, thank you.
I
Thank you so much.
Away from this so much, including that I need to fix my Club America pronunciation. Club
America.
Stop saying Club America, Jillian. Club America.
Well, Janelly, you are the type of guest that literally you're the reason why we want to do this podcast and hear stories like yours. And thank you so much for sharing everything that you did and for being so candid and just for being an absolute rock star. We're so grateful for your time.
And answering a DM from a random MLS girl. Thank you, Janelly. Inspirational. Cannot see kind of where we see Janelly in 5, 10, 20 years and what she does for the game in Mexico. So big thanks to her. As we mentioned, we saw the first step in CONCACAF apply FIFA's 3-step protocol in Sunday's Nation League's final. Step 1 played out in the last minutes of extra time, which entailed stopping the match, followed by a stadium announcement with an explanation and requesting the discriminatory incidents to stop. Fortunately, we didn't see steps 2 and 3, which entail suspending the match and abandoning the match respectively. For more information on the 3-step protocol, head over to CONCACAF's website and read up on the hashtag What's Wrong is Wrong campaign. So some steps done, but more to be done. And I really appreciate Janelly's insight there.
Absolutely. Always more to be done. And on that note, MLS is continuing to celebrate Pride Month and standing in solidarity with the LGBTQ plus community with initiatives such as supporting Athletes Allies Playing for Pride campaign. This is so cool. Players across MLS, NWSL, USL, and others are donating and calling on fans across their leagues to match their donations to the Playing for Pride fundraiser in efforts to make sports more inclusive. We love it. So if you guys would like to get involved, just go on over to MLSsoccer.com to find out more how you can support. We love this initiative and we love Pride Month. Soccer for all, everyone.
I'm happy I have a button on my lighting system that just really
Jill, every time you press that, I'm like, it's a party over there, and I wish I was next to you. And I think I need to invest. I wonder how my parents would feel about like a big flashing light. Display.
Totally fine. I'm basically trying to pretend that I was at what was Ali Krieger and Ashlyn Harris at Sydney LaRue's Pride Party, where they put gemstones all over their face. And I'm basically just trying to pretend I was there.
I mean, okay, the same way that Janelly is going to manifest making the World Cup in 2023, you and I are going to manifest attending a party with Ashlyn and Allie and Sydney and Alex Morgan and all of them. So let's just put that out in the
stay tuned, people. Universe. We got big things coming up in June.
We'll keep you posted. Oh, that was fun. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. See you next time. What's up, everybody? It is Susanna Collins and Jillian Sakovitz, co-hosts of The Call Up. And if you want more Call Up action, hit like and subscribe right here on YouTube, right there.
And also make sure that you download every episode of The Call Up every single Tuesday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time or anywhere that you get your podcasts. And while you're here, why not check out some of these other videos as well?